Call to order the City of Guthrie Planning Commission, February 10th. Roll call.
Don McBride,
Here.
Aaron Rooney,
Present.
Joe Chappell,
Present.
Abe Gassenport.
Here.
All right, everybody's here.
Okay. I assume we don't have any public comments except in regard to agenda items.
That's correct. They're here for the agenda.
All right. Item 3 is approval of the previous minutes from the December 9th, 2021 regular meeting. Do I have everybody had a chance to read it? Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All right. Don McBride,
Yes.
Aaron Rooney,
Yes.
Joe Chappell,
Yes.
Abe Gassenport.
Yes.
All right, four.
Item 4 is PC application number 21-012. Discussion and possible action on the request for approval of a final subdivision plat for 54 residential lots within the R1 single-family dwelling district for Meadow Ridge Addition, Phase 1, which is located in the east half of the northeast quarter of Section 7, Township 15 North, range 2 west at the southwest corner of Seward Road and Coltrane Road. Staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On June 10th of 2021, the Planning Commission approved the preliminary plat for this subdivision. The preliminary plat was approved for 102 lots on the 74.07 acre parcel. The current plat request is for a final plat for Phase 1, which will encompass 54 lots on 38 acres of the 74 acre parcel. The property is zoned R1, and the plat, just like the preliminary plat, the final plat meets all applicable development standards in terms of lot sizes, roadway widths, etc. The final plat, this portion of the final plat of Phase 1 will have the access off of Coltrane Road, and that there will be an additional access when Phase 2 comes about later on. As I indicated, the streets are the minimum required right-of-way, 60 feet, and all the easements are in place. The project is under the Logan County Rural Water District, and no city sewer exists, so all of the properties will be under a septic system. Fire hydrants are being provided throughout the subdivision. However, it will function like a rural subdivision similar to the ones in the area, where they will essentially be for, at this point, to fill up tankers. Most of the fire support will still be like by the tanker trucks versus hooking to hydrants. And that's fairly typical of the subdivisions that are in the southern part of Logan County due to the lack of infrastructure. The sidewalks will be installed throughout the development, and there's no portion of the property within the floodplain. All the paving, grading, and drainage plans were reviewed and approved by the city or our engineer, Myers Engineering. So based on all that, city staff recommends the commission approve the Meadow Ridge Phase 1 final plat with the following conditions. I won't read them entirely because they're lengthy, but essentially the conditions are pertaining to the construction's improvements, where they'll have to put up 100% estimated cost of completion for the required improvements. There'll also have to be a 2-year maintenance bond for all of the improvements, and then no certificate of occupancy for any building will be issued prior to the completion of all the required public improvements. So with that, I give it back to the commission for any comments.
Brought up in here, Phase 1 and Phase 2 said that the combination of Phase 1 and Phase 2 is 54 lots, right?
No, this is just Phase 1. The total build-out is 102 lots. This is Phase 1, which will only be 54 lots. So a little more than half.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
What did you say the first one was, 38 acres?
Yeah, it's roughly the 38 acres of the 74. So like I said, about half of what we have. Yeah.
second.
All right, Don McBride,
Yes.
Aaron Rooney,
Yes.
Joe Chappell,
Yes.
Dave Gassenborg.
Yes.
All right, passes 4-0.
And we're on council March 10, is that correct? I'll follow up with you.
Yeah, I was going to say follow up because we'll coordinate that, because that will, it would probably be the 15th, because the meeting's the 1st and the 15th of March, so it'll probably be the 15th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Item number 5 is TC application number 22-002. Discussion and possible action on a request for approval of a preliminary subdivision plat for 60 residential lots on a 12.66 acre parcel within the R1 single family dwelling district to be known as Hillcrest Farms, located at the northwest corner of Hillcrest Avenue and Pine Street. Staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Planning Commission may remember that this last year as well was rezoned from agricultural zoning to the R1 zoning district. This is obviously the preliminary plat to now subdivide that parcel per the R1 standards. The plat proposes 60 lots. It's roughly a 12.66 acre parcel. The majority of the lots will be 50 by 120, which is the minimum required in R1, 6,000 square feet. There's a few lots in there that are larger, especially as around the corners of the streets and that kind of fill in. There'll be 2 accesses with them both off of Hillcrest. There'll be essentially an internal loop that will get public access to all of the lots. This will be, it's unlikely that it's going to be a phase project because there's only 60 lots, so the final plat will likely come in as 60 lots as well, given that. The streets are the required minimum 60-foot of right-of-way, and all the required easements are in place. This is also actually under the Logan County Rural Water District in that for water service, and then it'll be on city sewer. One of the things that has transpired recently with Logan County Rural Water is they've approached the city of working with us to basically do a agreement to where we would serve water, and then the water, Logan County Water would essentially get a royalty or a percentage of the revenues versus them just doing it all. And so this subdivision, as well as the Guthrie Farms, will go under that agreement. I believe tonight might be their meeting. The city council's already approved that agreement to go in place. It's a similar agreement that they use with Edmond for some of their subdivisions. So it'll be technically under the Logan County, but it will have benefit to our water. And that essentially allows us to be a retail versus a wholesale on that. No portion of the property is within the floodplain, and like all the plats, it was reviewed by all utilities, city staff, as well as Myers Engineering, and none of us have any concerns at this point. So based on that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the preliminary plat as submitted.
Who's responsible for these roads down for the subdivision?
The city will essentially be, they're required to, and just like the previous one, through the final plat phase, they will have to bond for those improvements, and they'll be required to put in the improvements. But through the final plat process, those roads will be dedicated to the city of Guthrie and become private right-of-ways in that, and then ultimately under our maintenance and control down the road after they're put in. Actually, Meadow Ridge, they will have private streets, the one previously, but this one will have public streets that ultimately we will be in charge of.
Yeah, most of these will have a 3 or 5 year maintenance bond on them anyway.
Yeah, we require a 2-year.
Yeah.
yeah, after the improvements are done.
Before you'll take over.
Yep, yeah, to ensure that, again, if there's any issues, there's coverage.
Do a
Yep,
punch list before
Yep.
you get through.
yep.
I'll make a motion that it be approved.
I'll second.
Don McBride,
Yes.
Aaron Rooney,
Yes.
Joe Chapel, Abe Gassenfeld.
Yes.
Perfect. Passes 4-0.
Both look like they're neat and clean.
Yes. Be good additions to the city.
We could use them.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any staff comments?
None tonight?
Any commissioner comments?
Enjoy this beautiful weather.
Not a fishing trip.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, don't forget it tried to kill us last week.
Yeah.
I told Danny,
So
you
true.
call me and let me know you were gonna be here. I postponed the fishing.
You know, he
trip.
didn't think I was gonna be here, so he wasn't, and he wasn't lying, because I was not supposed to be here, but
That's what he
my
said.
trip sort of got delayed, so. Well, then, we're adjourned.